Well, can we say hi first?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hi.
Welcome everybody to another episode of
Be Uplifted. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. This is throwing me off since it's going in and out.
Was it going in and out again?
Yeah, like hella.
Damn it.
It's okay. I'm gonna try and not like let it bother me. Okay. Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. I couldn't hear myself for a second. It went out again. Okay. All right. So today I wanted to, since it's just us three again, Lonnie is not here, but she'll be here soon. So I wanted to get another male forward episode, and your guys' perspective. You know, lead with the penis. You guys ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So I was watching something, and they were talking about, well, they weren't talking about it. It showed this guy, and he was kind of being like a real misogynistic dick to a bunch of girls. Like, he talks about girls as kind of like the way Vince talks about girls, you know, on the podcast.
Wow.
And he's just like, and he had a thing for Asians, and like, he was just like, girls are bimbos and they're bitches and they're meant to like make our lives easier, but I do love them and I want to settle down, and like very contradictory almost, right?
Okay.
And the person that was talking to him was a matchmaker. They were trying to find him because he had come to someone to find love finally, but still talking about women like this, right?
Like celebrity matchmaker?
Almost like that, but it wasn't a celebrity. It was like a normal person. And the lady was just like, there's something deeper here. Like, why do you speak about women in this manner? And he was like, what? Like, I love women, I like, they're the hottest shit on earth. Like, they make my dick hard. It's just the way he talks about them, very, very like a person. And so the subject came up of the mask of masculinity, because she was saying like, something happened for you to want to put this mask up where you want to talk shit, where you always want to troll. But here you are looking for love. Like, there's something to this, And so I kind of wanted to, get your guys' perspective. Like, what is your definition of a true masculine man?
And then B, why is Vince like that? Is that what you're going to follow with?
I mean,
like,
maybe.
What the fuck?
Like, okay, so growing up, with everyone has their own opinion, right? Based on their experiences, their childhood, what they saw their father or whatever male figure was in their life, of how they view being a masculine man. What, like, you personally, what is your take on that?
Well, I think my take on the whole masculine man, it's going to be the stereotype. The old definition of it, where, take charge, and then you kind of, you are the head of household, and then, you mow the lawn, you trim the hedges, you're the one that does the oil change, does everything mechanical or labor intensive in the house.
Okay. So as the masculine in the house, what do you perceive as what the female should do? Like, what is her role?
Well, okay. The thing is like that the female's role has changed. I mean, you can't compare it to the same as like June Cleaver, right?
Right.
We don't live in that lifestyle of like, Leave It to Beaver, where she could just stay home and do all that, because a lot of times we're not financially capable of just having a one income household, unless you're a millionaire and your wife can stay home and handle all that shit at home.
Right.
Yeah, well, great. But now if it's a 2-person household, you also have to adjust for that. You can't just say, yeah, I know we work 40-hour weeks, but when you come home, you better have fucking dinner made.
Right.
Yeah, and there has to be some sort of like
balance,
concession that has to, balance that goes along with it.
Okay. How about you, Vince? What would be your definition of a masculine man based on your, like, who you are as a person, what you've seen, what you've grown up with? What traits does someone hold where you're like, yeah, that's one masculine, or I am a masculine man?
I just be a competent leader that provides and protects.
Okay.
That's basically it.
And as one that's a competent leader that provides and protects, what do you perceive is the woman's role in that?
Just make it easy for me to do those things.
Okay. So you talked about stuff that's very task oriented, right? Like you said, laborious stuff, things like that. What about on a more emotional and deeper level? What do you think it takes to be a true masculine man? Because, there's more to a person than just what you can do. So as a man, how can you be masculine but also be in touch with your emotions?
Well, I think you have to from a leadership point of view, is because Vince mentioned leader, you have to kind of be able to temper your emotions. You know, you know that there are emotions involved, but you can't let emotions guide you either.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to be in tune with your emotions, because there's a lot of, there's a lot of things that are happening that if you are just not, like, I don't know, mentally there, like in tune, then you just end up becoming like a drone, like a robot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, imagine trying to run your family and you have no sense of emotional stability yourself.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. How about you on an emotional level? Because we all hear how deep and emotional you are on this podcast.
Clearly.
What do you feel is a male emotional role, yet still masculine?
I don't really think that there is one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's
Elaborate.
It's one of those things where it's like you have to be aware of it and conscious of it, but then you can't let it control you. You know, so yeah, there are gonna be sometimes that there's definitely sometimes that it's okay to be emotional, but as the leader, you can't show that to. You have to show strength. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or at least that's how I try to do it. I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it, but it's the way that I do it.
Yeah, that's your opinion based on what you believe. Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to what I said in the beginning, the story of the man that kind of like talked to girls and said things, what do you guys think? Where do you think that stems from in the male community? This mask of masculinity, of being like almost like misogynistic and macho and machismo, but then like there's, it's absolute disrespect for women. Like, where does that come from?
It comes from creating a facade, right? So it's like seeing, like, you watch YouTube and you see a fucking superhero, and next thing you know, you have a fucking cape on and you're trying to jump off your balcony. You're creating this facade because you're not really comfortable with who you are.
Right.
You can't stand up and say, "No, fuck no. This is where I stand." So you got to go follow some other dude, and then follow his guidelines. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, that's actually one of the things that the professional said to this male on this show. She was like, you're acting like you're super confident, but we all know you're super insecure. Like, she had said that to him.
No, you could tell. Like, a lot of people, they'll stand up and they'll raise the whatever, the fucking whatever flag, the red flag, blue flag, whatever, the red pill, and all of a sudden you could tell that deep down inside they're just some insecure little kids.
Do you think that comes from like it stems from like a lack of validation from childhood, or do you think it comes from just, obviously you're not a professional in this field, but in your opinion, or do you think it always stems from, you see most of these guys come from a hurt relationship?
No, I think, well, people would always point to the fact that they might be hurt and there's trauma involved, but actually the more I looked at it, the more it's more like, as human beings, we always want to be part of something. And if you're an extreme introvert, you can't just get into that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just stand up and open the door and be like, "I'm here."
Yeah.
So you kind of have to pretend your way into it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So you create this wall, and this wall is just going to be like, "Oh, this is really who I am." But at the end of the day, those that really know you know that it's just the wall. It just this persona you're putting out just to be because you're not really comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Vince?
Well, I was actually really paying attention to like how Rich was describing like the facade and everything like that, and I kind of forgot the question.
Oh, okay. Now I forgot the question. Okay, hold on. What was my question? Oh, going back to the guy that I told the story about, right? About how he was like calling girls like, "Oh yeah, that hot bitch," and bimbos, and like, "Give me some this and that," but I'm looking for love, you know? Where do you think that like mask of masculinity that a lot of like guys nowadays that you see put on, where do you think that stems from? What do you think that they're trying to hide or project?
I mean, there's a couple of different ways to look at that. Is it really a mask? Is it just their vocabulary? Because some people that are raised in different cultures are going to speak a certain way versus other people. You know what I mean? So like if you lived growing up in like say the 80s and the 90s and you have Asian parents, there's a lot of things that you can not say that you'll get your ass beat for. you know. But then you live in like a more relaxed culture, you know, then you might call your mom her first name or some shit like that. So I don't know if there's really necessarily a mask, but I would say that there's a lower, I don't know, like as far as like the macho shit and whatever, or what were you saying, the misogynistic type. I just think that, like, here, I'll use me as an example, because I can see if some people think that way about me. No, but I'm telling you the blueprint on how to talk to somebody like me. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of girls that like me. But then if you want somebody that's similar to me, I'm not talking down about these girls. I'm just saying, hey, these are the things that I'm looking for that you're falling short on. Step your game up. Like if I say, like I could say something like this: I don't want to date a broke bitch. But what I really mean is make sure that you're responsible with your money. So like if a girl has a good credit score, but she doesn't make a lot of money, she's responsible with money. And if she gets a hold of my money, she's not going to go spend it on a Birkin bag or some shit like that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Do you think that a guy should take some responsibility on the way that he presents and words things, though? Like you said, the two same things, right?
Well,
but obviously a girl would receive one much better than, hey, I don't want to date a broke bitch.
Yeah. But I mean, like here's the thing though, is that I'll take accountability if they take accountability as well. So if I say something, even if it hurts, they have to understand that it comes from a place where I want them to improve. Like if I call somebody like fat, or if I say that they're like they're lazy or something like that, you know, there's also something that's going to follow that's going to help them get past that.
But don't you think as a human being, and maybe this is a female perspective, so you can tell me if you agree with him, I feel like when you say things a certain way, no matter who you are, people are going to receive it, like they're going to be defensive if you're going to be a dick about it, like immediately, you know, like that's just a natural human reaction. Like your intention might be good, but if you sound like a dick, then the person is going to be like, wow, you're being a dick, and then be defensive back and not even hear the rest of what you're going to say, you know?
I understand that. And that's why I said that it goes both ways, or, you know, like we both have to take accountability. So I have to understand how you hear things so that I can change how I say them. It's kind of like love languages. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, like nobody has one love language.
Right.
Like my love language is like words of affirmation, but it's not only words of affirmations, it's all of them. But words of affirmation hits me the highest. So I know that if somebody's going to talk to me, then it has to be the message has to be conveyed in which words of affirmation is the strongest delivery method. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're affirming that she's a fat bitch.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
kidding. Okay. So
See, it works, guys.
So to be even more specific, like this guy was 5'5", right? So he's like real little.
Napoleon complex.
Yeah. So he had Napoleon, and then later you discover that because she had told her, the professional had said, okay, so what I challenge you to do when I put you on a date is I want you to say something vulnerable to a girl, like tell her something really personal that you've been through. And they go on 2 dates, right? And he was like, didn't say anything the first one. And then he was like, I don't know if it's really necessary for me to be vulnerable. Like, what's the point, you know, whatever. But then he finally decides to do it. And he's like, yeah, so one of the things that happened to me back in the day was I caught my best friend and the girl that I thought I was in love with sleeping together. And it was like, oh, there it is. That's what happened. That's where it started from. You know, that's where the trauma started. Why every bitch is a bimbo and a blah, 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 blah. And in hindsight, he was like, oh my gosh, in hindsight, you guys are right. That is when it started. So that's why I asked him, so I'm asking you now, do you think a lot of this type of personality, do you think it's something that you kind of like acquire growing up? Or do you think some of it or a lot of it stems from a guy that's been hurt?
Talking in general, because this kind of feels like it's directed towards
No, because this is not even about you.
She's like, however, I don't. Rich, stay out of this.
So your question is, does it stem from something?
Do you think a lot of guys that are like this, like like you said, do you think it's more like I guess you could say like nature versus nurture, right? Like they're born like this. They kind of like grew up around these certain type of people, this area. Maybe that's why they're like that. Or do you think that a lot of guys that kind of act like douchebags, it's because they've been fucking hurt and now they're using this as like a method to protect themselves? Because that's my opinion. I think that guys are not really dicks until something really happens, you know? Like some of them are, don't get me wrong. There's genuine assholes out there, you know? But I've seen some really good guys turn really fucked up towards girls because of something that happened, you know?
I mean, I'll let Vince answer, but I have something for that.
After. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I have a short attention span. I'm going to forget the question, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Rich. I think that there are multiple reasons why something like this could happen. I would say that, yes, that this is a big thing where something bad may have happened to them, and this is their way of coping or retaliating to it. But I also think that humans as a species are very easily influenced. So if they are, if something did happen to them and their reaction was this, it may stem from other people that have had this happen to them, and then now they've turned around and they're this and this. Like every time, like I go on Threads, because Threads is such a toxic place, and it's fun to chat on there. So I'll go on or I'll go on Threads, and then I'll see something is like, oh, I wish this girl would love me, and I'm like, oh, what a fucking simp. So I just put on there, go to the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying?
More words of affirmation.
But my point is that there's also a big red pill community. So somebody that may not even have the experience with a significant other, but they're seeing other people that are getting the things that they want, like say Top G, Andrew Tate, the Fresh and Fit guys. You know, they have money, they're successful. You know, and maybe they look at that content and then think, oh, I have to be this way, which is what a lot of people are perceiving it as, like, oh, it's misogynistic, it's hate on women, it's, you know, pushing down on women and stuff like that. And it's like, no, not really. If you pay attention to all of the episodes or most of the episodes, they're looking at these women, or they're looking at people, and they're saying, you're lacking in this, or you're delusional about that, get your game up, you know, read a book. That's basically it. Because all of these, I can understand how it could be perceived as like a hateful thing. But if you really listen to the episodes and the advice that they give and stuff like that, they're basically saying, stop being delusional, you know what you're worth, and if you want it to be more, do more.
Okay. What were your thoughts again, Kuya?
Oh, well, no, I was gonna say, it's funny because you as you were talking, you were actually describing things from the women's point of view, right?
Right.
But there's also the male point of view, and the internet is great at separating us.
Of course, yeah.
So we don't actually deal with the problem. We just blame each other.
Exactly.
So you say, you know, guys will over here, and then they build a facade, but so do girls.
Of course, yeah. But right now I'm talking to you guys.
No. But what I'm saying is that's the thing.
She's like, it's my turn to attack.
No, but
I'm not attacking. I'm asking very nice questions to give your guys' opinion on.
No, but but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you always see like, oh, you go, girl. Oh, he ain't shit.
Yeah.
Even though it's her fault,
right.
You back up your friend, right? And the same goes with guys. It's just nowadays though, guys are more vocal, and now they're misogynistic. They make it look as though that now the guys have a problem, but the guys are just, you know, to some degree, are just stepping up and going, no, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch. I have the right to say otherwise. You know what I mean? But the problem is that we are getting our out through algorithmic data.
Yeah.
We're getting whatever side we choose to listen to.
Yeah, that's a good
We're
point.
never going to get both sides of the story.
Right. Well, that's kind of why I like talking about those topics here personally on our podcast. I feel like this is a healthy place where we do discuss like both sides. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not attacking. I'm opening up the platform for you guys to say like your side of it, because it's true. Like I was actually talking about this. Go ahead, you go first.
No, what I was gonna say is like, you know, all of this stuff, like the misogynistic comments and whatnot. Are they really as bad as the shit that the girls say about us?
I mean,
there's no scrubs song for guy or for girls.
Yeah, there is. The
Which
pigeons one? The pigeon one.
Well, yeah, that's not like that was made as a parody, but you don't really have like real songs like that. There's no, you know, like songs about guys talking about broke bitches, and if they are, there's few, you know. And then the ones that the girls make that are just like talking down about guys and stuff like that, those are hits.
I think also the times are changing. This is not me trying to defend girls, but like I feel like, and not because I'm like in the older generation, but I kind of feel it's also getting worse because the quality of women is getting lower.
A lot lower.
Yes,
honestly,
like not to be sorry, women. I know they're gonna come for me, but I feel like the standard, because we have come such a long way in feminism. You know, it almost went extreme, right? Now it's like
not almost. It actually
like now it's like men ain't shit, and it's like okay, let's.
Again,
so I'm a meninist, by the way.
Again, that's what we see on social media, though.
Right.
What is it in the real world? I mean, we have to step out of social media or your Twitter feed, your Threads feed, your Instagram feed, and your Reels feed.
Well, I think that is what's happening in the real world because people are getting influenced. Do you know what I mean?
A lot. I mean, it's almost the same fucking people.
Yeah.
So you don't tell me it's like the real world. It's like every time I scroll, it's the same chick.
But I'm saying it's these younger generations that are taking this stuff in. So it's like that's what the world is turning into. That's why the quality is dropping, you know?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we grew up when we had to bring a CD and it was like Sex You Up, Color Me Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's from a different perspective, but it's relatively the same. Like the flack you were getting from your parents because you were listening to like fucking Bobby Brown and whatever fucking, you know, humping you all night kind of songs.
Yeah.
It's just a different type. We're just getting the information a little differently.
Yeah.
But I think, remember the whole rave parties and then the whole backyards, sneaking out at night.
Yeah.
The
races. I used to go to the races.
The races.
Yeah.
We had kegers.
Yeah.
They don't have kegers now. Think about that.
I know.
So as much as we want to talk about like how the decline of today's society, we were getting wasted every weekend.
Yeah,
I know. Okay, this is totally off topic, but I was actually reading this article about that. It was talking about how like the trend of like 2024 with the younger generation is that partying essentially is not a big thing for them, right?
Yeah.
They like actually do grandma activities, like they are learning to knit. Like my daughter's like, Mom, I want to learn how to knit.
Shops.
Yeah, they go to coffee shops. They don't get lit like we do.
Yeah.
You know, actually that's so funny. And they say that part of it has to do with the fact that like it's too expensive to go out and get lit now. You know, that's like part of the reasoning. And then part of it too is social media romanticizing like these other things other than like partying, you know, like so that's true. That's a good point.
Well, I think that with the whole social media thing, it's just like it is an extreme, but then you're also fishing for that, you know, that view of something stupid. In fact, like me and Rich was actually bringing this up, how like when we're talking on the podcast and stuff, you have to be 30% more energetic than you are regularly in real life, because like you think I'm boring now? Oh my God. I don't even like me in real life. So
actually, no, he's much more entertaining in real life, just not on camera.
Just kidding.
No, but that's the whole thing. Now that also begs to question, are we seeing it as often as we are in like the toxic threads and Instagram and all these like posts? I think we are seeing as much, but it's just not as bad. You know, like it's not to the extreme where it's like a Karen is coming in and just demanding to speak with the manager. It still happens. Like I work customer service and I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not like crazy. She's not driving her Honda Accord through our fucking front door or
Yeah.
anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, it's funny because that's like a conversation that I had to have with my daughters recently too, and kind of in relation to this topic is I forgot what had happened. Oh, this one girl was being rude to a daughter, my daughter's friend who's a male, right? And he had said some comment like, "Well, that's why your boyfriend don't love you." You know, and because she was saying something bitchy to him, and everyone knows that her and her boyfriend have issues, right? So his response to the girl that was being bitchy to him was, "Well, that's why your boyfriend doesn't love you." And so my daughter jumps in to defend the girl, right? And she was just like, "You don't say that, you know, da 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 da. Like, she's a girl, whoop de whoop de wham." And you know, I was like proud of my daughter, but I had to talk with her about that, right? I was like, "Look, I'm super happy that you stuck up for your friend because that was really rude of him to say." But I'm like, this is what I want you to understand. I was like, you need to gauge everything the way that I gauge my life with men is the way that I look at my boys and your husband, like, and my husband. I'm like, I never want a girl to ever fucking snap at my son if it's out of line. I never want a girl to like and I was like, would you want your brothers to be attacked like that by a girl and not stick up for himself, you know, and things like that. And she was like, that's a really good point, Ma, you know. And so she actually apologized to the guy the next day.
Which daughter was this?
Both of them. They were both like, don't talk to them like that, you know? Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to them. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Their clap back was so weak.
Oh no, this is her being nice because she's like, yeah, and I was gonna say, but Lyric, which is one of her friends, she's like, but she told me to calm down. I was like, okay.
I would have let them have it.
Yeah. So, but I did tell, that's like the conversation because in my eyes, I am seeing more of this like extreme. And like, you're right, it's probably a social media thing, but I also see it played out sometimes in real life when I watch my daughters and I hear their friends because I'm the mom that their friends all talk to, you know, the cool mom that they can talk to about anything. And they'll tell me stories and I'm like, okay, girls, whoa, like calm it down, see it from the male's perspective. And then they'll be like, oh, I never thought about it that way, you know? But I do see this like, men ain't shit type thing going on all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I honestly have seen this since junior high school.
yeah, I mean, it's true.
I mean, it's just a different platform that I'm seeing. I'm just not seeing it like in person anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, you know,
Yeah.
fights every day. I mean, you know, it was like girls would fight. You know, we'll meet you over that fucking bridge.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
after
true.
school. It just, I don't know. I just think social media though just kind of gives it to you and makes it so much more accessible. I could be taking a shit, scrolling through and going, oh, look at this, Andrew Tate, and I spend 3 seconds more than I normally would on an Andrew Tate reel, and the next 17 reels are going to be Andrew Tate,
Right.
because it knows what algorithm I just got stuck at.
Yeah, that's true. So anyways, reeling it back in, because I didn't really want this to be like a male versus female type topic. That's
Right.
I did want to kind of more highlight like the fact that there's men out there that are putting a mask on because of a hidden hurt. So can you guys speak to that a little bit? Because I know a lot of times guys, like you guys have even joked about it on the podcast where you're like, oh, I just turn my emotions off, you know, or like I just talk shit because who's gonna fucking care about my problem anyways? Like I'll just crack a joke about it. Like,
No,
is
I
that
really do.
is that something that you do because it makes you feel better? It's not that deep, and women are making it deeper.
It's a validation. So let's say a guy gets hurt,
yeah,
right? He gets hurt, and all of a sudden he's down, he's kind of depressed. He's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I can't stand her. Like he still has that anger, and anger is an emotion.
Yeah.
So no matter, you know, people say guys shouldn't be emotional. Get into that state. Everything you do at that point would be kind of emotional.
yeah,
Right. And then he watches I don't know, some influencer that kind of goes, oh, women ain't shit. That's right. No, they ain't shit. It kind of starts to validate the hate inside him. So anything that he says is now going to be validated by that guy.
Yeah.
And then he's going to start following. The more you listen to somebody, the more you're going to be following him. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you just created this new image of yourself to protect the broken image behind. It's like a stacking doll.
So to be deep, you are saying that there's a broken version of them that they're covering up with.
No,
this-
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you're not you don't get to that point without getting dragged through the mud,
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're gonna have to figure out a way. It's more like a fight or flight a response.
Yeah.
Your brain's just gonna escape that trauma and that hurt, and it's gonna find a way out of it.
Do you agree with that?
I think so. What was the question again? No, I'm like
I'm like, what was
when
how
I
did I word
when
the
I listen
question?
to Rich, I like really listen, and I'm like,
Same.
and
I know.
I'm
That's
like,
why I
oh,
forget
fuck,
my question, and you forget what the
I'm
question
like,
is too.
damn,
I'm gonna
just,
keep all my answers short. Yes.
see, I get to listen to Rich's podcast live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, is my nipple popping out? Because I feel
It's okay.
Okay. No, like I think because there's holes in this, and my shirt keeps falling. I'm
If,
like, oh
if
my
it is, I'll just push it back. So just
Thanks. You got my back, Kuya. Perfect. Okay. So I basically was saying, like, how did I word it? I didn't want it to be like a he versus she thing. I wanted to more speak on how men do put on a mask, right? How you guys kind of like
Yeah.
joke about women ain't shit, or even beyond the women in a relationship things, even when you're hurting about like family problems or whatever, you're kind of just cracking jokes about it. Like, is that like something that you guys are taught to do? Is it something that helps you deal? Is it really not that deep, and it really ain't shit, like
It's not that I was taught that. It's just, and I could be wrong about this, but it's something that I learned. That no matter how I feel about something, it's not going to change that's happening. So I'd rather not vocalize it, not involve other people to let them have their bad day based on my bad day and shit like that. It's more like, fuck, I can't pay this bill. If I really, 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 really need the help on it, then I might ask one of you guys. But until then, no sense in stressing you guys out, because if I eventually figure it out on my own, it's like nothing ever happened.
yeah.
So there's no point in like, like misery loves company.
Yeah.
Not for me. I'd rather take on my friend's misery and just let them be, and let them think, oh, everything's fine and dandy, and then just fix it. And then in the end, nobody had to know anyways.
So
but in like hindsight, or like looking back, there was also a stream that Party had, Party Like a Mother had, and one of her questions was, aside from physical touch, guys, and just the guys, what is your love language? And it took her like 2-3 minutes, which is a long time to wait for an answer, before anybody answered. And she's all like, oh, so you guys aren't just gonna answer, or you're just not gonna answer? And then I typed in, and I was like, words of affirmation. And she's all like, can you give me an example? What can girls say? I was like, thank you. Just say thank you, or just tell us that we're like, you see that we're doing something, And then she's all like, oh, I never thought that you felt like that. And then something in that, I didn't snap, but then like I just went in on the chat, and I actually got emotional, and I had to stop watching.
Oh.
Because I was saying how I never do anything because I never feel it's good enough. And then she was all like, she said like something along the lines of, yeah, I always see you fixing something. And I said, yeah, that's why I never do anything, because I always think that something can be improved. And I have a standard that I want to live up to for everybody. And even when I try to meet it, it never gets acknowledged. And so it's like, at least say that that I'm trying.
Yeah.
I don't even need like affirmation or anything, just some acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's super deep. I never thought about it. And then she called me afterwards and stuff, and I was like, damn. So I do get emotional.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not 100% a robot.
Oh my gosh, we've discovered something, guys.
I actually am. I'm just programmed by somebody that's not a robot. But
the AI has improved.
Right?
yeah, I'm in beta 2.0. But yeah, we do have emotions, but we also, I'll speak on for myself. I've tried my best to control it so that it only affects the people that it should affect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about like guys that are emotional. I have quite a few men in my family, which is why it's interesting. It actually, to me, I've been in relationships and I've seen men in my family be exactly what you guys said, why you're the way that you are. Like, you're like, oh, I don't do this because I don't want to involve other people, right? I don't want other people to feel my stress. You're like, why should I do that? Like, what's the point of, and I think so highly of you two for being that way, because I have been surrounded by so many men, my uncles, my family, like people in my family, where if something was going wrong, whether it was something small, like they couldn't find a wrench or the fucking door wasn't shut, to being late, to whatever the situation is, it was like the whole fucking house had to feel it, like motherfucker, da 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 da, like cussing through the house, rushing, everybody's rushing, everything is just chaos. I feel like for me, it's almost like being calm is an uncomfortable state for me, because I watched the leaders in my life constantly be stressed and in chaos, and we all had to feel it and we all had to know it was happening, and it was just like you couldn't breathe. Me as a what would your advice be? Because I know there's men like that, for guys that are like that are like, I don't know how to regulate my emotions. I wasn't taught that. Like, for example, my brothers, for the longest time, like my brother's different now, obviously he's grown, but they couldn't regulate their emotions. They were very, very like, either like they shut down or they would be on 100 with being fucking pissed, because they were with my mom, who's more emotional, or they just would shut down. And it was like, oh my God, like 0 to 100 all the time. And like, what's your advice to probably like a man that's dealing with that kind of like mental health or struggle and doesn't have anybody to guide them on how to become like you guys, where you're able to regulate and able to like talk yourself down and be like, it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay. Like, I got this,
Well, actually, first probably get a shrink.
Yeah.
Get some kind of counseling.
Yeah.
I would also say that what you think that we do good is not healthy either. You have to find a median in between.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that 100%.
I think you have to find either some sort of like counsel, like therapist or whatever, and then also you can find like confidants. Because it's just like the perfect example you said, you can't find the fucking wrench, you blow up and the whole house have to hear it.
Yeah.
That's the smallest thing, right? You think it's the smallest thing, but it's the cumulative effect of multiple small things that they can't let go ends up, they blow up over the smallest thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a question like, why do athletes go broke? And a lot of times it's not the huge purchases.
It's all the little ones.
It's all the little 15 grand here, 10 grand there.
Yeah.
But you think you're not spending money because you're only spending 5 grand.
Right.
But spend 5 grand every day for 6 months and see how much you actually do spend.
Right.
Right. So it's things like that. It's like you have to find a way to decompress, and then also be able to vocalize to your partner, whoever you're around, that, hey, listen, this ain't good time. Let me just
take a minute.
And sometimes, I know you don't want it to be about, men versus women. Women always goes, no, we got to talk about it now. No, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Let him the space. Yeah.
Give him the space. Right.
I 100% agree with that, because I've seen that play out. And I also have been I'm actually on the other end. I want my space when I need my space. And a lot of times I've had guys in the past that are like, no, are you sure? Because they think I'm the girl that wants to talk about it,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just fucking need a minute, like, shut the fuck up. And they're like, no, because I don't want you to be mad. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, like, whatever. So I totally get that, because there are women that are like, now, like right now, I need to talk about it right now. Do you have anything else to say to that before I go to him about his answer?
Nothing can be fixed right now.
Yeah.
And any argument that you have. Nothing can be fixed right this minute.
Right.
You guys are arguing over bills at 10 p.m. You can't pay him and call the debt collector to fix it at 10 p.m. anyway.
Yeah.
Let that shit go. I mean, relax. Think of it. Kind of go the logical route. Plan it out. Just
right. How about you, Vince?
Go to the gym.
That's your suggestion of letting all the rage out. I agree with that. Like either the gym or just something to let that energy out.
So
like
not
fighting.
not
Like for Anthony, it was like
necessarily.
MMA.
There's a lot of reasons why I go to the gym. One is I really do want to look better and preserve as much health as I can.
Yeah.
But with all the variables in my life, the gym is always constant. If I go to 24-hour fitness, I know they're always open. If I pick up a 45 plate, I know it's about 45 pounds. You know, if I lift something one way, it's going to improve me that way. You know, if I set the treadmill at like 5-10 miles an hour, it's still going to be 5 and 10 miles an hour. That's the constant in life. That's something that I could always reset my emotion and my logic back to a definitive control.
Yeah.
So in this world of chaos where, oh, is this model going to show up on time? Are they going to remember this? Is this photographer going to be able to use the compatible accessories that I have for them at the studio? Is this bridesmaid going to get drunk and start telling me that I should start playing like classic rock at a wedding? Is this, you know, the whatever, all these things can like park in time to get to the nightclub. All those things that you could stress about and it's out of your control, but stressing about it isn't going to change it. But going to the gym where I know that barbell that says, or that dumbbell that says 25 pounds, it's always 25 pounds. You know,
Reliable.
so it's like
good old reliable.
yeah, it's the whole reliability thing, and it's like it's a big mental thing for me because as you know, I
so
do
the
a
gym
lot
has
of
become your girlfriend
no, because
she's reliable
no,
and she's always there, consistent,
no.
always the same weight.
See, you're dating different girl than I am. You mentioned all the things that I need the gym for.
You forget that she's good in bed too. He also mentioned that before. So
I can sleep with my gym equipment.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it good to you? See, there's a difference there.
Hand wraps adds more friction.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like with all of the variables and the things that I can't control in my life, even though I like want to be in a position where I can,
Yeah.
so that I can help other people and I can provide for them and stuff like that. Sometimes things just aren't in my control. But if I have a place where I can reset myself, like I've never left the gym upset. Even if I didn't hit my PR, even if I lifted a little bit less this week than I did last week, even if a piece of equipment that I wanted to use wasn't available when I wanted to use it, I still never left the gym upset because mentally I just know that I accomplished something,
Right.
and I can do it again.
Okay. That's a good piece of advice. Find some kind of outlet, basically. Right.
Oh, and the hot sluts are there too.
All right, there we go. Ended on that misogynistic comment.
No, but there's ugly sluts there too.
Oh, okay. Which one do you like better? The ugly sluts because they're easier, or the hot sluts because it's more of a challenge?
The ugly sluts usually help me get the hot sluts. So both.
Bet. Cool. Well, before we end this, do you guys have any more comments, just your general opinions or comments about, I guess you could say, mental health and guys needing to mask their stresses and present a certain way when it's really about something that they're not communicating inside?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just gotta sit back, stand back, look at yourself in the mirror, figure out who you really are. Because sometimes you put up these facades and you fuck around and you find out. And the next thing you know, you want to be the tough guy, but you really are not. And you talk about want to beat people up till you get punched in the face.
Right. Everything's funny until you get punched in the face.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like the people want to be like the tough guy, the whatever the next Andrew Tate until somebody challenges them on it and they can't back it up.
That's very true.
So
You know what I have learned in high school though, like as far as like fighting, because I'm not fast enough with my hands, but I can.
He just rolls on the ground.
you block with your face.
Yeah, I block with my forehead, and I've broken so many knuckles with my I kid you not. I'm the worst. I'm the worst fighter, But
The best blocker.
oh yeah, because I'm not fast enough to
That
block
counts
or
for
move
something.
out of the way, but I can move into the way.
What the hell?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm getting a bunch of texts. Okay. So, any other comments, concerns, questions?
No.
No?
Yeah. Stay true.
Stay true.
Stay true.
Damn, I forgot my going out question again. What's wrong with me? I felt so proud because I had my topic ready and everything. There always has to be something.
That's why you write it down.
I know. Well, okay, you're right.
Look,
You're
okay,
right.
see,
You're right.
look, to be successful.
Yes.
So I have to tell you guys what I'm looking at right here, right past the camera.
Well, just bring it.
It's come show.
Okay.
Show it. Intern. No, just,
No, wait.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wait.
Okay.
We have Vanna White over here.
The beautiful Vanna White.
What did you call this? This is my how to, or like my seminar.
Yeah.
I'm doing a seminar on how to be successful.
Thank you. Say
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, thank you, intern number 1.
So the first thing that you got to do
Yes.
is get a whiteboard. So we've done that, and then use it. And we've done that. So you're on the path to success.
That's all it takes right there,
Yep.
guys. We've been doing it wrong all along. We don't have the whiteboard.
Write it down.
Write it. Be about it.
Because
Ooh,
if you don't write
that was the bar right there.
Yep.
if you don't write it, you will forget it. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, it's true. I'm learning that about myself. All right.
What was it? Plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Be Uplifted. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts and vulnerabilities, low-key, and your stories. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.